Hi gang, welcome to C Sharp. Now we're going to look at C Sharp programming and programming as a whole. And let's take a look at, well, let's start off with identifiers. Now in programming, at this point you've all had programming previously. You shouldn't be taking this as your first programming course. You need to have some programming logic prior to this course. So let's talk about C# identifiers. Identifiers are names for program components. This includes classes and namespaces, variables, objects, and methods. With built-in components, identifiers are already chosen for you. For example, when you write a statement like console.writeLine, hello, the namespace system has already been selected for you. It's got the class name, console, and method name writeLine. However, when you define your own components, there are different rules and conventions. It's like a different way that we have to do things. And we have to follow those other rules when it comes to our identifiers. First of all, an identifier cannot contain any white space. No spaces between the words in an identifier. An identifier must begin with either an underscore, the @ symbol, or a letter. Letters include foreign alphabet letters too, so keep that in mind. They're part of the Unicode set. However, for practical purposes, most identifiers will begin with a letter, and it'll be an English letter. The identifier can contain only letters, digits, underscores, and the @ symbol. An identifier can't have any other punctuation or special characters in it. An identifier cannot be one of the C# reserved words, and actually you can use a keyword if you start it with an @ symbol, but it's like playing with fire. We don't want to confuse things by walking that fine line between something that's reserved and then we're creating something that looks like something other than what it really is. Okay, so when you write system.console.writeLine hello, the namespace, the class, and the method all start with uppercase letter. When you write public static void main, that method starts with an uppercase letter. Variables, objects, and keywords start by convention with a lowercase letter. I'll say that again. Variables, objects, and keywords by convention start with a lowercase letter. And they use camel casing, which means each word within that string of characters after the first word will be in uppercase as the first letter. Remember, there's no spaces in there. Okay, so we've got to get used to the different rules when it comes to how we write things and what the names that we use. So let's talk about object-oriented programming as a whole. Okay, all object-oriented programming languages support several common features. They all contain classes and objects. Classes are categories of things, and objects are specific instances of those things. So an object is an instance of a class. And you'll hear the word instantiation quite often. That just means that we're, in essence, cloning a class to create an object. Object-oriented programming languages also support encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. Very important concepts. We'll learn more about those here in a little bit. Okay. A class is a category of things. Class has a name. For example, you might have a video class. Classes have attributes. For example, every video you create might have a title and a running time. Classes also contain methods. Now, sometimes you'll hear them called functions. Now, for example, some of the methods that you may use with a video are methods to create it, to distribute it, to play it. An object is a specific, concrete instance of a class. For example, there could be a video with the title My Dog's Tricks, and its running time might be 4 minutes. A different object might have the title Olivia's Birthday, and it might have a running time of 24 minutes. They are both instances of that class, but they're distinctly different objects. Encapsulation is the ability to contain all of an object's features in one package. For example, if you've created a video with the title My Dog's Tricks that runs for 4 minutes, you can pass it as a unit to a method that accepts a video and works with it. Inheritance is the ability of a class to assume all the properties, of another one. For example, suppose you decide you need educational videos, and the attributes of educational videos include a title, running time, and a grade level. So this is different than the other videos we had. Grade level is the only thing that's new from the video class. So instead of creating an educational video class, you can take the video class, that parent class that we were already dealing with, inherit from it, and when you create an educational video, you only have to define one new attribute. So we can reuse that initial class, and now we've created a different flavor of it, if you will. Okay? So it gets its running time, its video class, but it gets its grade level from the new class. And because it's an object of the educational video class, it has all the attributes of both classes. Let's talk about polymorphism for a second. Now, polymorphism is the ability of different objects to work appropriately based on their data type. For example, you might have a video, My Dog's Tricks, that runs for 4 minutes. You might have an educational video, Fractions, that runs for 12 minutes and is for grade 4. When you write a method, such as the distribution process that accepts a video, it can accept My Dog's Tricks and work appropriately for it. And it can also accept fractions. And even though fractions is a different type, because it's a subtype of the video class, the method can work appropriately for it. Now, we'll learn more about that later, and there's so much more we're going to do. Okay? So, watch the videos. I've got videos for each of the assignments that we're dealing with. And I'll see you in the next chapter.